You are being hunted. Not in a forest, but in every room, every meeting, every social setting, and especially in every business transaction. You make the fatal mistake of believing that fear is your weakness. You are profoundly wrong. Your greatest vulnerability, your most catastrophic failure, is your excessive speech. You are an open book, a fully exposed tactics manual, with every unnecessary word, every unsolicited opinion, every explanation that wasn't demanded of you. You are handing the complete map of your mind to your enemy for free. You are allowing them to anticipate every move, exploit every fear, predict your tactics, and neutralize every ambition you've barely begun to cultivate in secret. Speech is your greatest choke point. It is where you pay the highest price. Consider this. How many business opportunities have been lost because you oversold and revealed your desperation? How many alliances or relationships crumbled because you couldn't keep silent about gossip or a secret? How many ambitious plans collapsed because they were announced before execution, giving your competitors time to organize? Your tongue is the bridge the enemy uses to invade your mental fortress and steal your sovereignty. This information leak is not just verbal, it is energetic. Every wasted word is an ounce of power you yield to the environment. You tire yourself out while others merely listen, absorbing and cataloging your weaknesses for the moment of their offensive. The talker becomes predictable. The predictable becomes disposable. The cost of noise is your future. But there is a single rule, a single skill that transformed Niccolò Machiavelli from a mere observer into an immortal strategist. This tool converts the incessant noise of the world, the clamor of mediocrity, into your deadliest, coldest, and most precise weapon. It is the secret that guarantees your complete and absolute victory without absolutely anyone noticing the fight. Silence is your camouflage and your shield. Most people confuse silence with weakness, with shyness, with the absence of an argument. This is the mistake of the common man, the error of one destined for mediocrity. He believes by social dogma that he must shout, explain himself, and justify himself to be valid. He must fill every pause with the fury of his opinion, fearing that the void will render him irrelevant. The Machiavellian solution and your great awakening. The silence that concerns you is not inaction or passivity, but calculated reserve. This is not a passive tactic. It is your first and most aggressive act of virtue. That force of character, that ruthless discipline that grants you total dominion over yourself before anyone else. It is your oath not to yield to impulse, a vow of strategic silence that is more powerful than 1,000 swords. Machiavelli knew, the one who speaks, reacts, exposes himself, and exhausts himself. The one who remains silent, plans, absorbs, waits, and strengthens himself. Let your opponent deplete their energy, their time, and, crucially, their arguments in useless, emotional verbosity. While they self-destruct with shouts and unnecessary explanations, you are accumulating invisible capital, crucial information, tacit respect, mental energy, and unbreakable composure. Silence yourself and you steal the time, energy, focus, and tactical advantage of the world. The first battlefield for mastering power is not the negotiation room, but your own psyche. Silence is the ruthless discipline that makes you untouchable. The common man is a slave to the impulse to justify himself. He feels compelled to immediately retort, to correct the smallest flaw in the other's narrative, to loudly celebrate a small victory, or to vent a frustration. He is a slave to the vicious cycle of emotional reaction, where every word spoken is a debt payment to his own vanity and insecurity. The silent threat, the true modern prince, rejects this slavery. He is the sole owner of his time, his mental energy, and his composure. You break the animalistic Pavlovian reflex to respond. You do not absorb provocation as a personal offense. You transform it into a cold, valuable, useful piece of data. You convert the poison of provocation into tactical information for future use. By refusing to react immediately, you force your opponent to confront the vacuum of your indifference, and their greatest fear is not what you will do next, but what you might be thinking in that dense silence. Silence creates the fear of uncertainty and implicit judgment, and uncertainty is the only weapon their mind cannot disarm. You become a fixed, cold, relentless, and unshakable point in the middle of any chaos. Your serenity, your silence, is what makes you dangerously illegible, and by extension, invincible. This is the construction of your internal citadel. While others build visible walls to protect themselves from external attacks, walls that can always be torn down by a greater force, you build an unassailable mental fortress. The individual who masters silence masters their emotions. The one who masters their emotions cannot be provoked, and the one who cannot be provoked cannot be controlled. Your inaction, your intentional pause, is your first and most sophisticated form of attack, a barrier against all forms of emotional manipulation. Silence is the active meditation of power, your non-negotiable sovereignty. This is the game of invisible advantage. Machiavelli taught us that the true leader must know how to manipulate fortuna, circumstance, and luck in their favor. Silence does exactly that. It is a psychological vacuum that human nature is genetically programmed to fill with communicative desperation. It is social anxiety transformed into a lever of power against those who lack discipline. Your opponent cannot tolerate the discomfort of your reserve. Silence is a weapon that tortures them, forcing them to break the symmetry of communication. They desperately need a reaction, immediate feedback to orient themselves and confirm that they are still in control of the social interaction. Desperate for validation or to fill the awkward silence you have created, they will do one thing: overtalk, always, destructively, and self-exposingly. Expanded tactical scenario: containment in crisis. Imagine yourself in a high-stakes negotiation, a hierarchical meeting where a superior is pressing you about a mistake, or a public debate where they try to demoralize you. You absorb the accusation, criticism, or offer, and then, instead of countering, you remain silent. Your gaze remains cold, focused, and evaluative. The opponent, unable to tolerate the 5 seconds of silence, which feel like 5 minutes in their mind, not only reveals their true minimum price or the real motivation behind the critique, but also why they need to close the deal or solve the problem today. They hand you the key to their urgency. They will reveal confidential details you would never ask for directly. They will commit logical contradictions trying to explain themselves to you. They will make unexpected and unnecessary concessions just to break the weight of your calm and your fixed gaze, handing you the victory on a silver platter. Your only response is cold patience. The dual psychological effect. Your silence not only extracts information, it sows doubt about your own position. The opponent begins to wonder, is he not responding because he's wrong or because my offense hasn't reached him and he's plotting something much worse? The second thought is always more destructive for them. You didn't need to be smarter than them, nor more aggressive. You only needed to be more disciplined and infinitely more patient. Fortuna worked in your favor because you set the trap of silence and let the opponent self-destruct in the name of their own anxiety. You are the engineer of discomfort, and discomfort is your greatest tactical ally. The silent victory is the only victory where the enemy's self-destruction is the main blow. If you speak, you assume the risk, the burden of proof, and the responsibility for the outcome. If you remain silent, you transfer the risk, the burden, and the blame to them. Silence is your cheapest, most effective, and most Machiavellian insurance against defeat. It is the transference of responsibility for failure. The last point is about lasting power, the engineering of perception. Machiavelli said that men judge more with their eyes than with their hands. The appearance, the perception you project, outweighs the reality of your actions. Silence is the brush that paints your legend. The talker, the one who explains everything and shares every step of their plan, is predictable and, therefore, limited and uninteresting. Their value is always equal to what they have just delivered. They have no mystery left, only volume. The silent individual, on the other hand, builds a strategic smokescreen over their potential ambitions and resources. That which is mysterious, that which is only suggested, that which is subtle, is invariably amplified by the fear, admiration, and uncontrolled imagination of others. The history of strategic reserve. Look at historical figures who mastered silence. They were legends before they were leaders. They did not have to announce their genius. Their silence insinuated it. Silence not only protects your strategy, it exponentially increases it, inflating your reputation far beyond your current deeds. The lack of information generates the legend, and the legend is your greatest capital of power. People fear what they cannot predict. You cease to be the predictable colleague who has an opinion on everything and transform into a feared and respected figure for your strategic reserve. Your authority is not measured by the volume of your voice, but by the absolute weight of the rare words you choose to release. When you finally speak, after days of observation, your voice carries the weight of hours, days, or weeks of strategic calculation, so your words are treated as oracles, sentences, or orders. Silence creates the scarcity of your word, and scarcity dictates your market price. Silence creates ambiguity, and ambiguity is the mother of power. Keep people in doubt about your true capabilities and the depth of your plans. It is this hesitation that keeps them always one step behind, always imagining the worst, always cautious about challenging you. Noise validates mediocrity. Silence validates the mystery of genius. Authority does not scream. Authority is, and silence is its coldest and strongest assertion of dominion. This is the moment to wake up. Stop justifying your existence, your decisions, and your intentions. The final secret is not just to be silent, but to understand when a word is worth more than gold, and when it is worth less than air. The ultimate test of virtue is your ability to withstand the weight of silence, even when your vanity commands you to speak. The final rule of the silent threat, the economy of truth. You should only open your mouth to speak when your words add more power, authority, and immediate tangible results than your silence is accumulating in secret. Otherwise, you are in debt, bleeding power unnecessarily. If your speech does not serve to acquire or retain power, capital, respect, or a tactical advantage, it is an unsustainable luxury you cannot afford. It is an unforgivable leak of virtue. Be a strategic hunter, not a commentator. Start now. In the next tense interaction you have, practice intentional silence. Resist the biological and social urge to retort or fill the space. Absorb everything. Wait for the right moment. Feel the weight of the new authority you have just stolen. This is how you become the silent threat no one will dare to face on your battlefield. Because they don't know where the battlefield truly begins nor where you are positioned, and it is too late for them to find out. You now understand. The best victory is the one achieved without a fight, through the enemy's exhaustion. The most feared power is the one that is not revealed. Mastering silence is the first step toward complete dominance. If you are ready to stop talking and start truly winning, subscribe to the channel now. Leave a like to reinforce your commitment to discipline and activate notifications. The next lesson will be about how to identify and neutralize the 7 types of silent enemies, those who use silence against you. Do not miss this secret.